Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong, and this week's episode, new to you, how to slow down on fast fashion to shop more sustainably. So we've got a really good question this week coming right at you. And we're going to get Pat logged in here to also join in the trash talking fun. So it's really interesting. We're really excited about this question this week. Hi, Pat.
Hey, Becca, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good.
I was just starting to say that it's kind of interesting. The weather has been changing quite a bit, and that definitely has gotten people thinking about shopping and clothing. You know, back to school, as much as I hate to think about it, is right around the corner.
It's too soon. Too soon.
I know,
too
it's too
soon.
soon. It's too soon. I don't want to think about it yet. But, you know, we got a question this week, and we do get a lot of questions about, you know, all things clothing, right? From like how to recycle them, how to deal with textiles, environmental impact of stuff. And so this week's question is a really good example of that.
All right. I'll jump right to it then.
Okay.
Our question comes into the Ask Evelyn inbox this week. It says, "Hi, Evelyn. I heard that the clothing industry has an incredibly large environmental footprint. Is this only true for the fast fashion industry, or is this for all clothing? Thanks, Kevin." Becca, quick answer.
So the entire clothing industry has an incredible footprint. So we will definitely talk more about that. But two ways to mitigate that is kind of, you've really got two options. One is to buy things that are new to you. So buy things secondhand. We'll talk about all of your different options there. And then the other thing too is to buy quality. So you're just buying less of something.
Right.
So those are really kind of your two quick go-tos. But let's get into the details. So environmental impacts, Pat.
Well, it's all about resources. You know, we talk about this. There's a tremendous amount of energy and water and transportation and fertilizers. I mean, you know, from cotton to wool to the polyesters. You know, polyester, of course, is a petroleum-based, you know, material. It comes from oil. So all of these, you know, paying high gas prices. Well, guess what? The clothing industry is paying high, you know, prices for their feedstock too. So everything's connected. And everything that we consume or we purchase or we use, it all has a footprint. And clothing, you know, clothing can be very durable, can be very, you know, lifelong clothing. There's some of those items we all have, those garments and things that we've had, it seems like forever. So those are good ones. But in Kevin's question, ask that specific phrase about fast fashion. Can you talk more about that, Becca?
Okay. So those of you who are not familiar with the term fast fashion, if you've gone to any clothing store, is a mall still a thing? It's been a long time. But as you go through, you see that clothing cycles through really quickly. And that's kind of where the term fast fashion comes from. And these are things that are incredibly cheap to buy. They're usually anywhere from shockingly like $5 for a clothing item to like $20 for a clothing item. And they would be things that are built very quickly. The materials aren't necessarily cheap, but they're not necessarily very well made. They're kind of meant to wear a couple of times, and oftentimes you've heard they fall apart. So that's kind of the fast fashion. And the fact that those kind of clothing lines turn over every couple of months, it's just unbelievable. So all the impacts we were just talking about, same thing. It's just on an even more rapid time scale. So really, fast fashion is not where you want to go if you want to shop sustainably. You really want to look at things that are going to last. So,
it's like I mean, I think, you know, things to last, yes. And it's like the junk food of the fashion industry. It's so immediate gratification. It's on trend. It's what have you, which is fun. And it has, you know, a little bit of that is okay. We're not going to guilt anybody into like buying, you know, a cheap t-shirt now and then. But when you're down on the waterfront, you're on, you know, out on a trip as a tourist and you see 3 t-shirts for $9.99 or $10, guess what? It's probably going to, once you wash it, it's going to be like a trapezoid.
All crooked.
Like all crooked. And, or, you know, one sleeve will be shrunk and the other one's still big or whatever, you know. So fast fashion is like that too. It's low quality and, you know, the seams may not be sewn together well. The same can be for shoes too. You know, there's a lot of cheap or, you know, less expensive options out there. And some folks have to go in that marketplace. And I get that. But if you can, you know, you can find really quality products at thrift stores that maybe someone else spent that high retail price tag for the product off the shelf, but then you can benefit from a lightly used, lightly loved, you know, quality brand, good product. It's worth, you know, and sometimes the fun is in the hunt too. You know, you got to get out there and you got to go through these stores on a fairly regular basis to find that size, that color, that item that's your style. But that is the counter to fast fashion. You can walk in any store, get what you want right now, but it's the price and the quality is going to vary.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other good thing, so if you're going to buy, new to you, if you're going to buy something secondhand, whether you're going to go to a brick and mortar thrift store or if you're going to go online, all of those production costs have already been incurred when that item was originally made. So, we partner with Goodwill. They're a great thrift store. There are also a lot of other good like brick and mortar thrift options in town. So you guys could check those out, all the way from small community thrift stores to larger organizations as well. But yeah, the thrill is definitely in the hunt. I mean, it's a treasure hunt every time you go. So those are pretty fun. But there are also a ton of online options, right? There are just so many. Actually, one that I wanted to bring up, I bought my kids these raincoats because, I mean, look at this baby.
That's fun.
I mean, it's got unicorns and Pegasus on here, folks. I mean, these raincoats are great. They're like fleecy.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got this one on, I think, Poshmark, which was great.
Okay.
So
that's fun. That's great.
So this was fun. So this was great. This was a very nice quality coat. The other really cool thing about this coat, which is a really nice brand, is that I noticed this in a lot of my kids' clothes. There's the good old-fashioned label in there, right, where you put your name in there because kids tend to put stuff down. And there are 3 lines, right? So this jacket is designed to last through 3 different kids.
Right.
And I really love that a lot of brands are looking at doing this kind of thing, where they're like, we've built it so well, we expect that this is going to last for a very long time. So,
I like that.
Yeah. So not only was it used, and so I got a really good price on it, and it was in great shape, but my kid will outgrow it and will pass it on to somebody else, which is fantastic. So, and I do like the comment too, that if you do, if you're buying new to you, you aren't going to be showing up in the exact same thing that somebody else is wearing because they just bought it at the mall. So, I mean, a little style on your own.
That's right. A little. So I think that, in the use of hand-me-downs was something I grew up in. I have 2 brothers, and so we would just put our last name on the product, and then it was, anybody could wear it, So.
It just comes back.
Yeah. So I have a product here as well, another show and tell item. So this brand that, you might be familiar with, Patagonia is the brand. Yep. And they have a tag. They have a line of product called the Worn Wear product.
Okay.
And it's basically a repair, reuse, recycle. It's a line of product where some of it has been returned by customers and they've list it for sale. Yeah. And then other materials, there's actually recycled content polyesters in here. So
that's cool.
Yeah, there's some companies that are like, they've heard the messaging about the footprint of fashion and they're looking for other sources of feedstock. Sometimes that source is actually the product, like a finished made product that they can then resell. Other times it's like taking in, polyester materials, reprocessing those, and then using that as feedstock. And, I like it, of course, but I think a lot of people, they don't really care where the polyester came from. They just want to have the sweater,
Yep.
So when you're looking at function and fashion and kind of trying to match those up in your purchasing.
Totally. So you can do a little bit of research. So like Patagonia has worn wear. I know that REI does a used gear section right on their websites. I think Eileen Fisher also has. There's lots of brands that are looking into doing this. And then, of course, online thrift marketplaces that you can look into, which is really, super helpful to find like all these different items that you're looking for. Sometimes things that will ship directly to you, which is also nice as well. One other cool thing is to do a little bit of research when you're looking for something that's going to be high quality. Our producer, Katie Dillon, had mentioned there's a subreddit called Buy It to Last, which is really great. So you can look into buying something when you're ready to make that investment in something really good. You can do a little bit of research and buy something that is going to be a good investment, right? And it's going to last you for a long time. And this applies not just to textiles, but also to kind of everything that we buy, right? Like everything in your life, like generally things that are less expensive. Okay, so check it out. So
there's Buy It for Life. There's Buy Me Once. There's a whole like marketplace strata out there for these targeted materials and products that are quality, and it costs maybe top of the market, but it is a durable and long lasting and quality product that you can probably they're hand-me-downs, basically. They're viable for that effort later. And then thrift stores. I also want to mention, the way the thrift store works is also donating stuff, folks. And if there's a pair of jeans or a shirt or a sweater that it's just not you. You haven't been wearing it and it's quality, but you're like, oh, I spent so much money on it, but I don't want to either find a friend or a family member to hand it down to, or just go ahead and donate to thrift. The thrift stores really appreciate those quality items, so they can offer them up for new customers. And then the things that are of fast fashion, if it is a shirt that's got misshapen, you can still give it to the thrift store. Okay, go ahead. They will rag it out. They'll go through their process of downgrading, certain things and finding markets, because they are commodities still. They're still resources, and there's options for those.
For sure, absolutely. So that subreddit, for those of you who love a little internet research, is Buy It for Life. You guys should totally check it out. I'm gonna go in there. I'm in the market for a few new things that I need to look at purchasing. So, all right, Kevin, really good question. Definitely, fast fashion has the same impacts as other textiles, but really your two best options are new to you, which is either brick and mortar thrift or online thrift. Those are always really good options, or making sure that you buy quality. So those are all really good options that you can look at. And that's a nice way, because we all need things, right? Everyone needs to acquire some stuff. You can just do it with a little bit slightly, different eye towards sustainability. So hopefully those tips help.
And you said it earlier, Becca, shop your values,
Yes.
Take the time, invest in yourself, find that joyful, pleasurable, that thing that's going to bring you happiness.
Yeah.
But also think about what you're buying. It's not about the look and the color. It's really the quality of the item. The
quality item, the ethos of the brands that you want to support. Right. I mean, that's a big part of shopping local, which, in your work with the commercial sector, we talk about that a lot, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, that's really how you support folks.
Yeah, so. Handcrafted products, locally made. Those are part of the value picture, what you're looking at.
Absolutely. So thank you, Kevin, for your question. And remember, folks, this show runs on your questions, so keep them coming. You can send them to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you can send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. And before we sign off, we have to give a shout out to the fantastic Ask Evelyn Live producer, Katie Dillon. This is her last show with us. She is really like Pat and I are up front, but man, she's the one that makes us look good. So she is. She makes all of this happen, and we are going to miss her so dearly.
Yes.
Yeah. She just, it's not going to be the same without her. We're going to keep going. She is on to doing some amazing new stuff. She's going to wow the world with what she's going to be bringing. And I know that she will continue to tune into this show every week. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But we are going to miss you so much, Katie. You are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Katie Dillon, you bring so much professionalism, so many skills, so many resources to the production side of Ask Evelyn. We have benefit. We're on show 115 in large part because of Katie Dillon. So huge props to Katie. You are tremendous, and we love that you're not leaving the utility. A new job, a new role, a new challenge, but you get to stay in the SPU family. So happy for that, and thank you so much for all your help.
Absolutely. Maybe we can get her to be a guest on our show sometime. All right, folks. Well, we will see you next week, 1:30 Wednesday, and absolutely keep those questions coming. We love hearing from you. And with that, I'm Becca Fong, and life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.